What's up, everybody? Long time no see. This video is going to serve as an update for sort of where I've been, what happened to the channel, and what's going to happen going forward. Now, I'm going to get into some of the details here, so this video is going to go a little bit longer, but if you're just wondering what happened to the knives, will there ever be a new knife video, if you just want the short version, basically, this channel will continue to be used. It will not produce any new knife-related content, certainly not in the way that you're used to. And if you're not interested in what's going to happen going forward or anything like that, and you were just here for the knives, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate all the support over the years, the support that the community has given to this channel, both while I was actively running it and in the years since, has been immense and immeasurable. And just the amount of traffic that the channel ended up getting in the long run far exceeded my expectations. Even just this last week, I got a message from somebody saying like, "Hey, missed the channel." So I'm still being interacted with it. I still get new YouTube comments for some of the old videos and stuff. And I just want to say thank you so much for enjoying the content, for supporting me, and yeah, I really appreciate it. So if you are only interested in ever seeing knife content from this channel again, you are free to unsubscribe. There will be videos being posted to this channel going forward, and they will not be knife related. So if that's all you wanted to get out of this video, again, I just want to say thank you. You can end the video here, and you can unsubscribe from the channel. No hard feelings. I will be keeping the old videos up. Long term, if it ends up being an issue for the channel, I might move all the videos to a new channel. And then archive them on the current channel and have them available for watching on another channel. But that's down the line. For right now, I'm just going to keep the videos there, and they're just going to be unrelated to the new content. And that way, if anybody still wants to enjoy those or reference those, they will be available. So I'm not going to hide the videos or delete them or anything like that. I know a lot of times YouTube people do that. They get rid of the content. It's very weird. So the content will be there. So if for whatever reason there's a video that you needed some info from or something like that, it's always going to be there. And if I do end up transferring those videos to another reservoir, obviously make a video and link to those in the future. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about what actually happened in detail, and then what's going to happen going forward. So for those of you who perhaps met me at a knife show or engaged with me over the internet or something like that, maybe you're somebody that sent in some loaner knives to the channel or something, and maybe you didn't have enough of a personal relationship with me that you kept up with everything that was going on. But basically what happened was I got laid off from my job at Tesla in 2019, and the job that I did at the company was very Tesla specific. And doesn't really exist at other companies. And so I also wasn't expecting to be a part of the layoffs. So really, it was quite a rug pull for me, not just from a financial standpoint, but also just like what do I even want to do with my life standpoint, right? Having a job that was kind of invented for the company really put me in a situation where I wasn't part of any particular industry. I didn't have a clear path or like the ability to go apply for the same job at another company. And so that was really difficult, just in general, like not really knowing where to go or what to do. And so I ended up being unemployed for about 11 months. During that time, I was actually streaming full time on Twitch, not in the sense that I was making a living, but in the sense that I was trying to, and that's what I was doing with my free time. So, when I stopped making the knife videos, is about in the same time. I kind of kept the channel going for a little bit, just with content that I already had banked and everything like that. But I pretty much moved on from the channel after getting laid off and after starting to stream full time. So the streaming was taking pretty much all of my creative ability and time. And also, I couldn't afford any new knives, right? I had no income. So the only way to keep the channel going at that point was to do exclusively loaners. And I wasn't really interested in that. For me, the knife hobby is very much something that I like being a part of. And I didn't want to just rely on the community permanently going forward. to send me their very expensive knives. You know, I want to be able to go to the shows, wear my shirt with the logo on it, and say hi to people, and, you know, actually engage with makers and buy their products and be really a part of it. You know, I love knives. To this day, the one that remains is the classic Thorburn. So all of my customs were sold off during the time of the layoff to pay bills. But the one that I kept on to was always the Thorburn. This Thorburn's very, very special to me, and I worked with Andre directly on obtaining this one, and even if you offered me double what I paid for it, I would never sell it. So this was the one that stuck with me through all the selling of assets and everything like that. But yeah, so that's why I ultimately decided not to keep it going, was because for me, a big part of the knife hobby was the community and was actually staying engaged. And so the fact that I couldn't afford, I couldn't afford to go to the shows anymore. I couldn't afford to buy any knives. That just kind of like was the end of it for me. So in terms of what's been happening since, as far as knives go, I've been into knives since I was 9 years old. It was something that I loved before I discovered custom knives and before I discovered the knife community. And it is something that I will continue to love for the rest of my life. I've realized actually before I started filming this video, I'm actually wearing a Gavco Knives t-shirt. And even though you all haven't seen me much on the internet, I am there. So I'm always lurking. I'm still on the same Instagram account. I'm still liking people's posts and seeing all the new knives. I follow every show. I watch all the, excuse me, I see all the Instagram content and stuff from all the knife shows. I know which knife makers are still in it, which have moved on. I know what the trends are. So I'm still very much engaged in the community, and the people that were close friends of mine, particularly local friends, we continue to stay in touch and talk about knives and watches as well, frequently. So it's not that I like lost any passion or anything like that. It was strictly sort of like a financial and creative energy type of issue. So that's why the videos stopped. And that's also why they won't be coming back. So after about 11 months, I found a job at a new company, and I took a massive pay cut. So the main goal for me was finding a situation where I was sort of utilizing everything that I had gained from Tesla, and sort of able to continue on a career path that felt relevant to what I had been doing and felt relevant to what I wanted to continue doing. But unfortunately, the downside of that was taking a significant pay cut to effectively start at an entry-level position, which ultimately I should not have been doing at my age or with my experience. But I did do that. I have gotten promoted 3 times pretty rapidly, and I'm just about back to making what I was making at Tesla in the past. However, those 11 months, like I said, I accrued quite a bit of debt. And there's just other things in life now as well. So ultimately, the idea of spending over $1,000 on a knife anytime soon is kind of out there for me. And that's just the nature of having such an expensive luxury hobby, right? The reality is with custom knives and with watches and any of that sort of EDC gear, high-end luxury EDC gear stuff, you kind of got to be well off. It's just the nature of it. It's expensive. And so, yeah, I'm just not really in a position to do that, and that's okay. But I just wanted to emphasize that, like, I'm not a fake. I'm going to go off on a quick little tangent here. I'm a big fan of StarCraft 2. If you've never heard of it, it's a old real-time strategy game made by Blizzard, takes place in the future, and it was very, very popular back in the day, about 10 years ago when it came out. And there was a YouTube creator for the game, a YouTube creator and a caster. So StarCraft 2 was an esport, highly competitive. So you have like shoutcasters and stuff, commentators, like you would for a sport. And there was this one guy who became extremely popular and really was the face of the game for many people. And he ended up leaving the community and deleting all of his YouTube content and kind of vanishing, and then like reinventing himself as something else and coming back to YouTube. And that really burned the StarCraft community because we had realized we had all been lied to. here was this guy that had been producing ultra passionate, ultra high polished, very likable StarCraft 2 content for, what was 4 or 5 years. And like I said, really became like the face of the game and was very involved in the community. And if you had asked anyone at gunpoint what they thought of him, his name was Husky, or that was the handle that he went by, was Husky. If you had asked anyone what they thought of Husky, they'd tell you he was a diehard, dedicated StarCraft 2 fan. And what we all ended up finding out in the long run was that he never really cared about StarCraft 2. He was never really interested in StarCraft 2, and he did it because StarCraft 2 was really popular, and he wanted to be a popular YouTuber. So he essentially faked his personality, faked his interest, and became this ultra popular, ultra famous personality in the community, all on a lie. And so it's just really important to me that anyone who cares, I know that this video at this point is only being seen by a small handful of people, but I want you to know, if you are watching this right now, I want you to know that was never the case. I've always been passionate. I love the community. I love everybody in the community, and I still engage with makers and everything like that. And, I don't want you to feel like any of this was ever fake, because it all came from a place of love and passion. And I'm very proud of everything that I did and everything that the channel was able to do. I still think to this day, nobody has really filled the niche of doing videos that aren't necessarily technical reviews on ultra high-end custom knives. People still really aren't doing that. You've got collectors who post videos of them holding their knives and stuff like that. But I really don't think anybody was quite doing what I was doing. And so I'm very proud of that. And should I ever find myself in a position where I can freely get back into spending that kind of money, you will see me back. You will see me back. So there is that. Now, having said all that, and again, I just want to anybody who is going to move on from this and not stick around with the channel, which I suspect will be most of you. I don't really expect anybody to stick around if there's no knife content. Again, you can feel free to unsubscribe. No hard feelings there or anything like that. But I do want to talk about what's going to be happening going forward. So here's the deal. YouTube has made it increasingly difficult to get a channel off the ground from scratch, particularly getting AdSense enabled. And if your channel is not monetized, you are in a separate bucket for search results. Meaning, if your videos are not monetized, they're also not getting recommended to people at the same frequency. They're not showing up on watch next, things at the end of videos. It is a significant detriment to not have a channel be monetized on YouTube. And so I have tried to create a couple channels from scratch. And it is possible, but it just takes a significant more amount of time, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So what has happened is I have started streaming again. I basically stopped streaming when I got the job that I have now, which I'm going on 3 years at the current job. I stopped streaming to focus on that job, and I learned some other skills as well. I spent 6 months learning how to code and stuff like that. So that's all been really great. But what I've decided to do recently is to begin streaming again. That's on twitch.tv, if you're unfamiliar. So I'm not streaming here on YouTube. I'm streaming on Twitch. But unlike the past and unlike most streamers, I really don't want to be committed to like a specific video game or a specific topic or anything like that. I really want to focus on what makes me unique, which is that I've been calling myself lately a jack of all trades and master of none. So I've always been the kind of person who has lots of interests, who never really becomes the best at anything, but who becomes above average at a lot of things. And that's what I want to emphasize with my stream. So we're going to be doing like variety style streaming. There's a little bit of like solo game dev content where I'm working on some game concepts, a little bit of coding, messing with like the new Dolly API and stuff like that. There's also just general YouTube video React content. If people want to share an interesting YouTube video, we'll watch that together. There is some gaming, but it's pretty varied. I'm not sitting playing like one MMO for hours on end like I was in the past. So you're going to see little bits and bobs of things like Hearthstone and maybe a little StarCraft 2 and some other like indie games and stuff like Slay the Spire and Dead Cells. So there's a little bit of that mixed in as well. and also the hobby content. So I've always been very into modeling, specifically not modeling like, hey, not that kind of modeling, but plastic models, miniatures. So Warhammer 40K and Gunpla specifically are big ones for me. So you'll see some of that content as well. And where the YouTube channel comes in is that I want to utilize this YouTube channel as a cross promotional tool and as a way to emphasize the type of content that I'm doing on my stream with video content. So for those of you who have never made YouTube videos, you'd be surprised at the amount of time and effort that goes into the video versus how long it actually is. So for example, if you're streaming on Twitch, if you stream for 3 hours, you end up with 3 hours of content, right? That VOD, that video recording of your stream is a whole 3 hours. And if somebody wanted to watch it back, they could, and they would have 3 hours of content. But if you want to spend 3 hours on a YouTube video, depending on the content and how much editing you're doing and whether you're doing any keyframe animations or anything like that, those 3 hours is probably going to produce like 3 minutes of video content. So the ratio of time to content output with YouTube is significantly more effort, more consuming than doing something like a live stream on Twitch. And so I don't want to spend too much time making YouTube content, but I do want to create YouTube content that people who are interested in my stream and stuff can kind of supplement that with. And so, again, leaning into the jack of all trades, master of none, there's going to be lots of videos where I'm thinking of doing like a series. Excuse me. I'm thinking of doing like a series where I sort of demystify some of the different hobbies that I'm interested in. And one of those is, of course, going to be custom knives. So, you know, as a custom knife fan, you're probably used to trying to explain it to your relatives and stuff like that. And it's like, wait, you collect weapons? Are you violent? Or wait, why would you spend so much money on a knife? Don't all knives cut the same? You know, these are all questions that we've dealt with. So there will be a YouTube video coming down the pipeline demystifying the custom knife hobby, what it is people like about it, why the value is there, you know, how it intersects with art and sculpture and stuff like that. And so, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I want to do. You know, other hobbies that I love, Formula 1, Warhammer, you know, different types of niche video games, you know, watches, et cetera, et cetera. There are lots of those things that I'm interested in where you try to explain them to the average person and they're pretty skeptical, right? Isn't it just cars going around in a circle, or isn't that just whatever? And the answer, as we all know, as hobbyists, we all know the answer is no. There's so much more to it. So those are the types of YouTube videos that I'm going to be making dedicated specifically to YouTube. And then in addition to that, you're going to see clip content, clipped and edited content from the stream hitting the channel as well. So, you know, taking a 30-minute react and then editing that down, stuff like that. And then just general hype clips and stuff. So that is what this channel is going to be used for. So again, if you're not interested in seeing any of that stuff, please feel free to unsubscribe. No hurt feelings. Obviously, people subscribed for one thing and one thing only, and I do not expect everybody to stick around in any sense. So feel free to unsubscribe. I really appreciate everybody's support so far. If you maybe are interested in seeing what the future has to hold, you can check me out, twitch.tv/Mr. Tovarish with a underscore in between Mr. and Tovarish. The link will be posted in the description down below. So if you want to click straight over to that, you can follow the stream. And I am streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights at 7 p.m., as well as randomly on weekends. So that's my schedule right now. If you want to stop by the stream, that would be great. Say hello. If you're not familiar with Twitch or you've never been on Twitch, I am a great way to get started. You can come in. You know, there will only be a few people in my chat, so I'll be able to interact with you directly. You can come in and feel free to ask about Twitch in general and how it works. Happy to explain all of that live on stream. And then, of course, if you just want to kind of stay subscribed and see what it is that comes down the pipeline and see if it interests you, I would super appreciate that as well. But again, no hard feelings either way. I just want to say thank you to all of you. I can't believe that the channel to this day hasn't had a video in years and it still gets new subscribers, still get new comments on videos. I've always been very surprised by that. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate the support over the years. I'm sorry that the channel kind of like just fell off a cliff. But ultimately that was because my life kind of fell off a cliff at the time. But again, I'm really glad where I am now. Everything's sort of come around, and I'm doing well. So don't worry about me or anything like that. But yeah, that's what the next chapter looks like. That's what the Tavarish Works channel looks like. The channel name has already been updated to Mr. Tavarish to match the stream. And you are going to see the channel icons and everything like that changing as well. So it'll look a little bit different. But yeah, thank you all so much. Feel free to stick around or not. Feel free to leave a comment on this video if you have something to say or if you have any questions. And yeah, thank you all so much. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And hopefully I will see you guys around.